Hi, my name is Nick, and welcome to the Painter's Mess. So if you've been on social media, you can tell that Adepticon 2025 has just ended, and many people are posting pictures about Golden Demon, things that they saw there, events, different vendors, and stuff like that. So if you want to check out any of the stuff on Instagram or on Twitter or wherever, and under your favorite channels or your favorite companies or whatever, I'm sure if they were at Adepticon, they were posting about it. So go check them out. There was probably a whole lot of information, a lot of good sales that they may have carried over to their web stores. Go check. There's a whole lot of stuff. I'll talk about it later in the video, at least the stuff that I picked up. For those who were able to go, I hope you had a great time. For those who can't, I hope and I really do hope that you start saving for next year so you can attend. You know, get the flight, get the hotel room, and then register for some events. It's such a great time. This is like my fifth or sixth one, and I highly recommend you go if you can. You don't even have to sign up for events. You can really just buy a ticket or a registration, sign up for the registration, and just show up and just have a fun time. You can also not do that and go in there for free because it's a free event and venues are free. So if you don't want to sign up for stuff, you don't have to. But if you want to do anything in regards to the convention, you do have to at least pay for the registration for that and then any of the events. And that those registration fees go to the event runners. So it just really depends on what you sign up for. So come join me and I'll give you some of my thoughts on the venue and the events that I participated in. And at the end of the video or towards the end, the last like 15 minutes, I'll be what I picked up and what I plan on doing with all the things that I got. Let's go make a mess. So the first thing I want to talk about is where it was hosted this year. So normally, or the previous years, it was at the Renaissance in Schaumburg, Illinois, which is near Chicago. This year it was at the Baird Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which I will say is 2 to 3 times the size of the Renaissance Convention Center. So it was huge. It was great. I did not feel congested at any point in time except for maybe walking through the main hallway. And then obviously as people are like shopping at in the venue hall, like it's pretty congested, but everybody's shopping at the same time. But it wasn't in a way that it wasn't escapable if you needed to leave. And especially when it come to like playing the games at the events, it was never really congested, and they had things everywhere. Most of it was in one section or one building. So there's like a sky bridge that leads to the other building. Most of it was in one building, and there was just so much space and there were so many tables and terrain with a whole bunch of different games and game systems that it never felt overwhelming, especially from a perspective of like, I don't like large crowds. And if I had to be in a large crowd or for whatever reason, I was able to escape that and be comfortable relatively quickly. So it was very nice. It was really cool. And one of the biggest differences that I noticed was that the Baird Center is its own convention center that actually doesn't have a hotel like as part of it, compared to the Renaissance, which you would just go from your room down to the convention center, and there was like no delineation between the hotel room and the center or the con. Here at the Baird Center, it was the hotels are either a block away or they were connected to the Baird Center by a sky bridge, so you do have that delineation between where you're staying and the convention itself. So that can definitely give a reprieve for a lot of people, depending on your personal situation and the things that you enjoy, and stuff like that. For me, I didn't register until, or I didn't get a hotel room until I registered in January, which means I actually didn't stay at any of the local hotels. I actually stayed about 8 minutes away. So I had to drive there, which was perfectly fine. Saturday was free parking, so I was parked literally in front of the entrance to the convention center, and I just left my car there all day. So like it was free. It's cool. Otherwise, you had to pay like $35 a day for the whole 24 hours, and you could park in the parking garage, which had a lot of space. It was convenient. It was great, and that was also connected to the Baird Center itself. So you just have to walk out, go into the entrance, and you were there. Either way, it was an amazing convention, and it was a really great location. So I know that they're talking about doing it next year at the same place. It was great. It was spacious. It was good, and many of the rooms, except the main Warhammer room and the vendor hall, were padded. They had carpet, so you could have conversations 5 feet from another person and be able to hear them, and it wasn't overly loud. Now, that was probably it's a small gripe as far as like the vendor hall and the Warhammer location, like the main Warhammer stuff, like 40k stuff, and like new Age of Sigmar, Old World, and then some of the other like not venues, some of the other like demos and stuff like that were in a room that had concrete on the as the padding, so it was was not very acoustically beneficial for many people. So it's not that you were screaming, but it definitely wasn't. It was definitely louder in that area. So that is something they might look into changing, at least from what I've heard. Maybe moving the vendor hall somewhere else into a different room, and then leaving that space for the events. I don't know. I don't run Adepticon. I have no idea. I'm just making a guess, and that would be a feedback that I would provide, or I would look at as a person who helped run the con. So the second thing I want to talk about is the events that I participated in. I did the Phryix narrative campaign for Horus Hersey. So the Phryix narrative campaign is like a homebrewed system campaign that centers around what's called the Phryix system, and I'll have everything linked down below to their Discord and to like their campaign information. They actually have a lot of information. They have they have things that they have a whole narrative description that's also audioed, so you can listen to it. It's really cool. It was a lot of fun. Basically, it's a narrative campaign in some open space in the universe where Horus Heresy legions have now traversed and are now acting and getting resources and fighting the things that reside in the universe there and stuff like that. So it's really cool. I did the frontline. It was like a 2-game 3,000 point games, and then which they had every day, and then a large boarding Zone Mortalis, like boarding actions kind of thing. Not boarding actions, but broadside. So that's what they called it. So for our narrative Zone Mortalis apocalypse game, it was a ship floating in space that was being piloted going somewhere. Traitors came on board, loyalists came on board. We started fighting each other, and then the ship started fighting us. So there were some automatons on the ship that started attacking us, and I actually have I was provided by the administrators of this event the STL files, or at least where to buy them, and for these like automaton creatures that were starting to attack these robots, and I took a picture of their stats so that I can add them to my own narrative campaign at home, and it was really cool. The guys were awesome. They were so friendly and so helpful. And we even got to the point where we were talking with one, because they're out of Kansas City and I'm down in St. Louis with my friends here in St. Louis. We talked about doing a local narrative Phryix campaign event, or meeting halfway in like Columbia, Missouri somewhere, and then doing it there because we have friends in Columbia. So it was really cool. They love what they do. They love the stuff that they do. They're all very passionate about Horus Heresy and their narrative campaign, and they are more than willing to, at least from how I talked with them, they are more than willing to reach out and like go have fun and do these events and host these events for other people. But that's not the only thing that's at Adepticon. There are events for everything from Horus Heresy to 40k to Age of Sigmar to Necromunda to Battletech to all of these other game systems that many people have, and there are so many demos, and like if you don't like Warhammer, that doesn't mean that this wasn't for you. So if you have the opportunity or are in the area next year, I highly recommend going. It is a good time. But there's literally everything under the sun that you could sign up for. Even painting competitions like Resin Beast or Golden Demon. So like they have all of that. There's other painting competitions there too. So there's painting classes on painting, on airbrushing, on sculpting, on everything. So if it's something piques your interest, I highly recommend you sign up and try to attend next year. Start saving money now, because it's easy to spend a lot of money there. Even though I was pretty tame with what I bought, but I know a lot of people aren't always that way, depending on your taste in games and miniatures. And now I want to talk about one of my biggest gripes in regards to the convention. Now, this isn't anything about the convention, it's about the people. So for me, in my opinion, right, we put a lot of time and effort into all of these miniatures that are around us, right? How much time and effort I put into a mini is not the same as how much time and effort somebody else puts into a mini. And in regards to that, I expect a level of treatment if you are in fact ever going to touch my miniatures. So, because I would treat your miniatures with respect and handle them with care. And that is something that happened in a negative way to me. And that was probably one of the most frustrating things that happened. That kind of ruined one of my games, just because the individual that I was playing against just may not have been aware of how it affected me, but it's still a thing that you need to do as a player and as a good player, like as a caring person, not like I'm a good player and I'm gonna beat you. Like, just be a caring individual and respect others and other people's time and effort. So in my example, or the thing that happened to me, is I had a squad of autocannons in the middle of this like center tower, and I had a couple models that were hanging on precariously on the edge, and the gentleman charged my unit, and like he could have just left his model on the table, but he decided to put his model inside with all the other things and kind of laid it on top. And it broke one of my antennas off of one of my augury scanners. And I'm just like, I immediately got very frustrated with that individual, just because, and he was a great guy, but like, respect my minis because I will respect your minis. Respect my toys because I will respect your toys. And some people I saw just like throw their shit into a box, and like that's how they transported it. If you want to do that, that's cool. That's on you, bro. But like, I take a lot of pride on how I like put all my stuff on either a magnetized like plate, like a battle foam, or like within foam itself. Like, I'm very, very gentle and particular on how I put things. And like, do not throw your minis onto my minis. We're gonna have words, because like the effort that you put in and the effort that I put in, I don't want wasted. And like, yes, I could always glue it back together. Do I really want to fucking do that? Absolutely not. Like, just be respectful. So if you are a player and you decide to go to Adepticon, don't touch people's shit. Talk to them. If you're going to charge and you need to get your guy in the thing with them, just be like, hey, I'm going to set it to the side. Let's just assume that he's there. This is a friendly narrative game. I don't need you to I don't need to be touching base to base for us to know that that's going to be a fight phase, right? Respect other people's shit. This is like my biggest soapbox. Just respect people's shit, because I don't want to break something and hurt somebody's feelings. So I don't expect somebody to break my shit and hurt my feelings, right? Because we put a lot of time and effort into our minis and painting and all this. Just be fucking respectful. That's all. For an example, I'll just do this last one. There was a table I wanted to play on. A gentleman left his stuff on the chair near the table. I didn't want to move the chair, and I didn't want to move his stuff. Waited about 5 minutes. I could see him across the room. I walked up to him. I was like, hey, man, we want to play on this table. I don't want to touch your stuff. I owe you that respect, right? To not touch it and not ruin it and not break it. Can you come move it? And he's like, absolutely. And he came, picked his stuff up. He apologized, which he had no reason to apologize at all, other than, he left his stuff there, which was whatever. I don't care. He moved it, and we got to play our game. That's all you got to do. If you can't find the person that owns the stuff, and you have to move it, handle with care. This shit is fragile, and that is the last thing I'm going to say about that. Just be respectful with people's stuff. So. That's my biggest gripe, and that has nothing to do with the con. Just be a good person. Be kind. Be respectful, please. So there's just like a couple other small like nuancy things that I could easily talk about. The vendor hall was really cool. Like I said, it was loud, but I didn't pre-order my badge, so I didn't get it shipped to me. I just went there. When they open up registration, usually that line is like super long. They did a great job because the space was so huge. They let a chunk of people in at a time. You go to your last name, you get your badge, and you walk out. It was that fast. It took me maybe 10 minutes. I didn't feel like I was waiting in line for hours for anything. It was great. Everything was relatively quick. I think the longest I may have waited was for food at lunch was like 10 to 15 minutes for anything. So there's small nuancy things. If you have any questions about any small thing or any detail of the convention, just put them in the comments below and I'll talk about it, or at least from my experience. But it really was not bad at all. It was pretty nice. So highly recommend it if you can get to go next year. Overall, like I said, it was a wonderful experience. And yeah, with that, if you have anything, put it down below. But otherwise, we're going to start talking about what I picked up and what I plan on doing with it. So now I want to talk about the things that I picked up from the convention this year, and I'm pretty excited to share them. So the first thing that I will say that I received was a bunch of stickers. Now you get these from the vendor halls, from content creators, from a bunch of other people, and I just got a bunch of stickers from a bunch of different things. And I can't speak highly enough about all these stickers because I love putting stickers on things and just adding stickers to like my palettes and like stuff like that. So like there's just so many stickers. There's more. Phryix had stickers. I got some from a couple other vendors. I got one from my buddy Andrew and Dan, so from Heroes Brush Hour. There's a couple like D&D stickers, so I have an Alchemist and a DM sticker. There's just so many stickers. There's so many things that you can just get stickers about for, and it's a good time. There's a lot of other free things that you can pick up or that are get handed out. So like, I don't know if this is squad markers. I actually haven't really looked at this yet, but it's another thing that I have on the table. You also can get templates. There's a lot of vendors that have templates. So there's just acrylic templates. I bought 5 of them for Phosphex bombs, just to like place down for Phosphex when I play Horus Hersey with Death Guard. So like templates are cool. The same vendor that gave me the sticker, or that I bought the stickers with for the DM sticker and the Alchemist sticker, had these. These are coasters, like slate coasters, which are really cool. I'll take one out just because I thought that they were awesome. They had a sale on there, so it was like buy 4 get 1 free, which is great because like you're never really gonna need more than 4 at a time, unless I don't know, you have a party or something. But like us nerds, let's be real, we only need like 4. But it's a slate coaster. Like it's awesome. This is pretty sweet. It's called Lethal Shadow Gaming. Check them out. I have one of their things here because they also do D&D minis and like stuff like that. So there were minis everywhere. There were 3D prints everywhere. Loot Studios was there for a lot of D&D stuff, and there were just so many different companies that had so much stuff. The next thing that I want to talk about are dice. So the Baron of Dice, Dice Baron Baron of Dice. I got some Custodes ones. I got some Blood Angel ones. I also got some Nurgle ones for my Death Guard. Just dice. They didn't have any of the scatter dice, which is fine. I have scatter dice, but it would have been nice to get like the same design or same like color in scatter dice, but it is what it is. So maybe that's something that they can look into in the future one day. I don't know. I don't work for them, but hey, I would. Bags, stuff like that, everything to hold your stuff. And I want to talk about, the next thing I want to talk about is the bits guy. So there is a huge bits venue. He's there every year, and usually he does like a quarter a bit, and there's like bins of bits, separated by legion or faction or whatever. And then there's whole models that you can go sell and pick up. And some of them are painted, some of them are not, some of them are shit, some of them are not. It's huge. It takes up like half of the hallway, or like lengthwise half of the hallway, and it's just this big location for picking up bits. My only issue with that is a quarter a bit is pricey. That is a lot of money, and that adds up very quickly. And even when it comes to full models, you don't get to haggle with that person, or at least from my experience, you haven't. I think I tried in previous years, and I did not try this year, but you don't really get to haggle at all. And some things need to be haggled. Like, there is no reason to pay almost full price for something when I could get it on eBay, just by putting on an alert or something like that, especially when it might not be the best product or the best resin cast. Don't even know if it's real or not, because they do have a lot of resin stuff. I found just so many things that I would like to buy, but I just didn't want to spend the money on. For example, there was a box, Castaferis box Dreadnought. It's the Librarian one for the Blood Angels, and I found like 10 of them, and he had them all marked for $50. There's no way in hell that I'm going to pay $50 for something that I can only use in Horus Heresy, or that I would really only use in Horus Heresy, when I could look on eBay and probably get it for 20. And with that, there was another small table that had bits on it, and the guy was rotating things out throughout the week, so we just kept going back and looking at it. I did get a magnetized version of it for $20. And I actually convinced him to give me something else, because I was like, I'll buy this for 20. And he also had the original Mephiston model, the metal, I think it's metal, it might be plastic, I don't know, Mephiston model, and he had this for 20, and I was like, hey man, I'll give you 20 for this and 10 for this. And he said, deal. Like, that's haggling. That's great. Like, he's selling his inventory. He doesn't have to bring it home. I get a good deal on it. I spent $20 on that. It's already painted, although I'm going to touch it up. And then I got an extra model for $10. Like, that's how you haggle. Just be nice about it. Be cool about it. The bits guy, at least from my experience not last year, I think the year before, doesn't really haggle. And some of those things are marked a little pricey. So, like, to each their own if you have the extra money, but like, everybody wants a deal. The dude in my idea is like, the more you sell, the less you got to take home. So sell as much as you can, give it a good discount, because like, you're there just to sell your stuff and make money. The same guy that I got the Dreadnought from also had two of the oh god, what is it called? The drills, the Horus Heresy drills. I cannot remember. It starts with a T. I have one right here. This is one of the drills. Actually, he gave me all the weapons too, because they're all there. He had two of these. He had them for $100. The guy, I left and came back. One of them was sold, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ask him if he would give me 90 or 80 for it. Either way, I got a good deal, because I was like, hey man, I'll buy this right now for $80 or $90, and I will also pick up these two metal cast Imperial Guard dudes. One's a Vox guy and one's a preacher, and he's missing an arm, but he gave me the chainsword, so it's right here. And I was like, and he had those for 10. I was like, I'll buy this, I'll buy the drill, and I'll buy those two models, and you give them all for me for like $105, $110, whatever it is. And he said deal. And I'm like, That's one less thing that you have to bring home, because like this is big. This is the size of my hand. For all those other, this is relatively large. Yeah. So like this is a deal. Like this is a fucking steal, because this is 155 by itself. I got it for less than 100, and I got these two dudes that are like probably not made anymore. So like, why? It's a deal. Dude doesn't have to bring it home. I got a good deal on it. All I have to do is paint this in Death Guard colors, and even still, like, it's cool. It's painted well. Like, this is awesome. This is great. I don't have to worry about it. I could leave it like that and be completely content. It's great. So, and then here are all the painted as well, all of the weapons for it. If you're there to sell stuff, make it a good deal for everybody, because like you're gonna sell your inventory, and it's gonna be great. So the next thing I want to talk about is there's posters that you can pick up, which are also really cool. So I have a couple posters from the Phryix campaign and some other the other Horus Hersey stuff that was nearby. So those are kind of rolled up. I kind of squished them because they were in like my center pocket of my hoodie. But I'm going to get a frame and put them in there, and hopefully they look all right. And if they don't, then, well, whatever. They're still going to hang up on the wall because nobody's ever going to notice. And really, if somebody like zooms in on like this wall or maybe back here, I don't know, and was like, there's a crease in there, fuck off. I don't care. The next thing I did, and I'm actually very, I'm both excited and really sad that I caved and did this. So Saturday morning, went to the GW booth, and they had all the new Necromunda stuff out that was on pre-order. And I probably shouldn't have bought this, but I did, and I feel bad as far as my wallet is concerned. But internally, I'm pretty excited because it is a start to a full Zone Mortalis board. And I know I just made a video saying I wasn't going to pick it up, but like, when in Rome, peer pressure, because my buddy was there and was like, hey, they have the box. I'll hold one for you because they only have 4. And this asshole grabbed it, and now I have this Necromunda Zone Mortalis destroyed high fleet terrain. So yeah, so I'm gonna paint this in the same scheme of my other the one I put a video on of this piece of terrain. So yeah, so this terrain piece is going to be the same scheme for that. I'm going to build all this up, and now I'm going to start building a Horus Zone Mortalis board, destroyed Zone Mortalis board. So it's going to be great. So yeah, there's that. And to go with that, and something I'm really excited about, and I will be making, I'll do a combined video of these things, this is probably like the last thing that I picked up. Oh, not the last thing, but I'll talk about the last thing in a minute. This is something that everybody's talking about because they had it on demo at the AK Interactive store, or at in the vendor hall, where you could sit down and test this out, and he had terrain there. So I actually tested it on a piece of terrain. It's paint markers. So this was like $100 at AK Interactive. They're coming out with another version, which is more like a not watercolor, but like this is like a felt tip, and it's more like a brush tip. But these are felt tip paint markers, acrylic paint markers. And I used one of the metal colors on the trim of one of the Sector Mechanicus terrain, just like this. So this trim, obviously, if you watch the other video, and I'll link it, or it'll be available to watch. This is lead belcher aerosoled and then painted over the panels with acrylic paint. He had a black piece of terrain, just prime black, and I took one of the metal markers, and all I did was color in the trim. And what took me 20 seconds to do would have taken me maybe 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half to do with a paintbrush, going back and forth. It was impressive, and that is how they sold me on this box immediately. The dude actually didn't even talk to me. I just sat down and tested it, and I was like, this is amazing. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna use this on my Zone Mortalis terrain. So or if I had picked up the Zone Mortalis terrain, I will be using this on that terrain. This was awesome, and there's so many different colors, and I'm so excited to see what I can do with this and what people can do with this, because it's really cool. Again, these are felt tip. There are apparently there's one coming out in the next month or the next quarter or something like that are like brush tip. I can only imagine how those are going to work, but like that was so quick. It's fucking coloring with markers on your terrain like a kid. I have a 3-year-old. It's like the same thing. I'm really excited. So look out for that, because this is going to be a terrain game changer, and this could be used on anything because it's a frickin' marker. And the last thing that I picked up was I have a 720 battle foam carrying case that I use for my armies, and you can actually see it. It's right here. This is the Magna tray. So the Magna racks. I have it for my Death Guard, or how I use my Death Guard. But I also bought another 720 pack. I didn't buy the actual case, just the Magna trays, and they had a really good discount. And I believe that they do that for the next week as well after Adepticon. So for a whole Magna set, the large Magna rack trays for the 720, I think normally the price is like $150, between $130 and $150. They had it on sale for, I think it was like $100 or something like that. And they look up your account, and because I am military, my military discount also got applied. So I actually got that whole set for like $95, $95. I think it was 95 plus tax, or 95 with tax. So like what little tax is added from taking off 10%, whatever. So now I have my Blood Angels on a Magna rack and my Death Guard on a Magna rack, and my Custodes on a Magna rack. So I have all my armies. I can just easily swap them in and out of my bag, and it's great. So that is my haul for Adepticon 2025. I think it was a really good haul. I didn't pick up any other board games or any other miniature games, because I don't need them. Excuse me. I also didn't pick up any display painting miniatures, because I have so many. So I was really pretty tame on that. And yeah, if you went to Adepticon, hopefully you found something that you really liked and enjoyed. Hopefully you had a good time at your events. Please, if you have any questions down below, put them in the comment section, and I would love to answer, at least from my perspective as a player. I did not go there as a content creator, just because my content is very low, or not low, but very small. But I would love to go there as a content creator, maybe have a class next year. So hopefully I continue to make these videos, and you guys support me in that way, give me feedback, and hopefully next year you guys can attend, and maybe I'll be teaching a class, or maybe I'll submit again for Resin Beast, because I did that back in 2023. I obviously wasn't there last year because of my deployment, but I would like to submit for Resin Beast again, and I would like to maybe one day submit for Golden Demon. But that's like, I'm debating on that one still. So let me know what you guys think if you attended, and if you had gotten anything if you did attend, and if you plan on attending. Put it down in the comments below. Give me if you like this kind of content, a like and subscribe is 2 very good ways to support this channel. Yeah, and thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. And until next time, go make a mess and have a good one. Bye.